After driving for a few minutes, Kathy slowed down and parked up. "Want to swap seats?" she asked. "Sure," I answered, feeling excited at the prospect of driving on a highway. We quickly got out of the car and swapped seats. Kathy explained to me that because it was automatic, I wouldn't have to do anything but steer, which seemed like it would be very easy on the open highway. "Okay, so remember, you don't have to do anything much, just steer, push on the gas to go faster, let off the gas to slow down, and hit the brake to stop," she repeated. "Okay," I nodded, raring to go. Within seconds, I was driving along feeling like I'd been driving on American highways for years. "You're doing great. Just keep heading south towards St. Petersburg," said Kathy. Much to my surprise, after a few minutes of seeing that I was driving okay, Kathy got comfortable in her seat and fell asleep. I realized that her nerve tablets must have kicked in. I felt so proud that she was trusting me to drive without her guidance. I drove along with ease, slowing down when necessary and building up to cruising speed when safe to do so. It all felt natural to me, and like Kathy had said, it was very easy. Suddenly, I spotted a very high, narrow bridge that seemed to be going straight up into the sky like a roller coaster, and I hoped that we were not on the road that was leading to it. I kept driving and tried to keep my calm as the road got busier. Soon I was surrounded by cars, and straight up ahead of us the bridge was getting nearer, and I soon discovered that we were right on course for it. "Kathy, wake up!" I exclaimed, starting to panic a little. But she was in a deep sleep. Kathy, wake up!" I shouted again. I soon found myself driving up and onto the bridge and doing my best to keep driving in a straight line and stay in flow with the traffic. It was very narrow with only 2 lanes in each direction. I felt that it was too narrow and worried I might scrape the side of the oncoming cars. As the bridge was very steep, I felt as though I had to hold my breath to steady my nerves as the car was climbing upwards towards the sky. My heart was beating faster and faster. Meanwhile, Kathy was in a deep sleep, oblivious to my distress. "Wow, my first time driving and I get this. Trust me," I thought to myself, in a state of shock and disbelief. My instincts seemed to take over. I took slow, deep breaths and did my best to stay on course, while feeling as though I was steering for our dear lives. About midway across the bridge, I glanced in the rear mirror, and much to my dismay, there was a police car right behind us. I suddenly felt lightheaded and my heart started beating even faster. I clung onto the steering wheel tighter, and I kept taking long breaths and tried to focus on the road and keep steering straight. It was petrifying, as by now we were very high up in the air, on a very long, thin bridge, trying to keep up with traffic while oncoming traffic was speeding towards us, and if all that wasn't enough, there was a police car right behind us. Finally, we were over the Skybridge and back on the normal roads again. But the police car was still behind us. I tried my best not to panic and act normal, but inside I was feeling stressed to the max. I could do with some of Kathy's nerve pills right about now, I joked to myself. Suddenly, the police car turned off to the right behind us, and I let out a sigh of relief. I drove for a little while more before I spotted a good place to pull over and park. I decided not to wake Kathy, because she was sleeping so peacefully. Instead, I quietly got out of the car and went to sit on a nearby bench to calm down. After a while, Kathy emerged from the car wiping the sleep from her eyes, and I told her what had happened. I reminded her of how it was my first time ever driving, and suddenly I'm driving on this extremely high bridge in single-lane traffic with the police right behind me. I added it would have been scary enough for anyone, but for a first-time driver in a foreign country, it was absolutely terrifying. She looked at me as if she was impressed, and we both burst out laughing.